Go ahead.
Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin. As always, I'm joined by my cohort, Mr. Chip Chirimbus, who now is in Las Vegas. Can't keep track of this guy. He's all over the map, folks. But one thing that's not all over the map is his picks, and he does very well. Been doing it very well for a while. Chipper.
Yes.
How are you, buddy?
I'm great. I'm following the sun. Well, not really the sun, because you might think I'm going to Phoenix. I'm following the heat. It's 104 here already, and it's like, 9 o'clock in the morning. But, it's great to be back in Nevada and Las Vegas. I love it here. You know that. And it's good to get a break from the humidity of South Florida, though I've been riding those waves and a wave of winners as well, Russ.
Yeah, it's funny because back in South Florida, you're in the 90s, and if it's 105 in Vegas, well, I was just there a few weeks ago and I witnessed it. You don't sweat as much,
No, I've learned that anything about from 101 down is actually fine. I mean, you can burn from the sun. You just have to protect yourself. But as far as being palatable, and particularly at night, it's gorgeous. It's just really is. It always has been in the summer here. And the humidity never leaves South Florida. I mean, you're always with that. So, what a difference, what a dichotomy between one place and the other. And I love them both. I mean, it's like getting the best of both worlds. And being back in Las Vegas, it's invigorating. I could feel like I can breathe again. I don't have an anvil on my chest.
It's diversification, my man. That's what you're doing. Anyway, we are recording on Friday, July 2nd. Boy, oh boy, they all blend in together. Sunday's going to be the 4th.
How about that?
We're going to be taking a look at tomorrow night's game between Milwaukee and Atlanta. And right now, Atlanta is a 2-point favorite. The total's 216.5. Before we get to that, Chip, last night, I had Milwaukee. I had them as a top play. You passed on the game. They won 123-112. But any observations you could share with the audience in terms of what happened there?
What's happening is, without their star players and the role players having to come up, they just seem to play so much better at home. They just don't pick up the mantle on the road. And that's pretty much been the storyline from what I can see. I look at the shooting statistics and I look at the turnovers and things along those lines, and you get a feel for what's going on. And inconsistency with the differences between their shooting percentages at home and on the road. This Middleton is a prime example. I mean, he lights it up in one place and he can't find his way into the gym in another. So, that's what my take is from it. And now this game is going to be played in Atlanta. And, Ross, the big question is Giannis going to be ready? Is Trae Young going to be ready? We can sit and go over the trends and the stats on this. And I think we both are aware, and everyone should be aware, Milwaukee's road record. They've covered 18 of 44, which is not good. No. And Atlanta's been great at home. I mean, Atlanta's like 27-16 against the number.
Yeah.
And now, and that's why I think you said that they've been installed a small favorite here, even with Young, being questionable. And I think that number's a reflection of what I was just saying, the differences in the way these two teams play, whether they're home or on the road.
I was a little shocked. I looked at the fact that I said, let's see how Atlanta's doing at home. And then I saw how good a home favorite they are. But you know what, Chip? They've been a home underdog in their last 5 on their home floor. They've been an underdog in their last 5 at home, which is really, for a team that's got this deep into the playoffs, is highly unusual. And I put myself out on a limb here and say that's probably never happened before, but there's circumstances and why that occurs. I will say this about when Trae Young and Giannis are out. It goes with a lot of star players that have possession of the ball for the majority of shot clocks. Trae Young's a perfect example. Now, he gives out a lot of assists, but, it's only, in my opinion, human nature is you don't think you're going to be touching the ball that much when a Trae Young is in the lineup. He's the point guard. He's handling the ball most of the time. Giannis is going to be a guy that is going to bail us out in the last 10 seconds of the shot clock. It just seems the mentality of the supporting cast steps their game up a little bit. They share the ball better. The tempo last night was incredibly fast. So it wouldn't shock me if either of them don't play or both don't play for that to continue. Now, having said that, there's a degree of uncertainty when it comes to that. But again, we'll do our best to assess what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, Ross, you said they've been an underdog now at home, like 4 in a row or 5 in a row, and
Right.
now they're a favorite here.
Yeah.
So they're coming in this situation. Do you look at it differently? Do you think the odds maker is trying to draw people on the Milwaukee side, or do you think that Atlanta is just going to follow form here and dominate as a home team once again?
Yeah, it leads me to believe that the odds makers don't believe that Giannis is going to play and have an inkling that Trae Young will. Now, even if either or both play, the other question is, how effective will they be? Yeah. Are they even near 100%? My answer to that is probably not. Okay.
Your point being taken, we've seen that happen when Chris Paul came back and when Harden came back, and these guys who had missed time, and they may have been a plus in the lineup to have around, but they really had poor shooting games and they really didn't perform well individually.
Yeah, James Harden especially, he didn't perform well at all for a series of the games. It was Chris Paul.
That's common for him for the playoffs, Ross. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
That's a low blow, but
we're still waiting for Harden to do it in the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Chris Paul, though, what can you say? I mean, the one game when he came back, he was just rusty, and he wasn't coming back from an injury either, Chip.
Right.
A COVID protocol, And look what he did in the last clinching game there against the Clippers. 41 points, outstanding performance.
Never really been
happy
a big
for
fan.
A guy like that, right, Chip?
Well, I've really never been a big fan because of his playoff performances in the past have really lacked something. But he came up big here, and kudos to him and congratulations. And let's see what happens from here on out. And he's in a great situation there because I don't think the pressure on him has been as strong as it was in previous seasons.
No.
He's really got a lot of talent around him, and he's a facilitator. So that's why the Suns are where they are, a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Yeah. It's first time. I think I
93.
Heard, yeah, first time since 93.
Right.
First time ever an NBA team has made it to the NBA Finals after not making the playoffs for 10 or more years.
Okay.
So they had not made the playoffs since 2012.
Wow.
They make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, and they go to the NBA Finals. First time that's ever happened when there's been that many years in between even a playoff appearance. So just an astronomical feat by them. They're a fun team to watch.
Great team to watch.
Booker's a nice player. I mean, they got a nice combination of veterans, mostly young players. And like you said, Chip, this is probably a year that Chris Paul came aboard with Phoenix, and there wasn't high expectations, and they exceeded expectations, and good for him,
Yeah.
Anyway, how you been doing of late, Chipper? You're always at the top of the standings, but fill the folks in a little bit.
And I was bouncing back. I thought really strongly on Wednesday night. I had the Yankees jump out to a 7-0 lead because I had lost 2 games in a row. And then all of a sudden they give up 7 in the 9th inning and I lose that game. I was really disheartened. I really felt like, this may be going on a real negative trend. But I came back strong yesterday with Cincinnati as a top play. They took a lead, came from behind, and won in 8-play fashion. Another easy win, Ross. Another walk-off win. And I'll take them any way we can get them.
Hey, look, 2 in the bottom of the 9th and made up for the night before. What a mess the Yankees are, man! Oh man.
Yeah, they got a big series this weekend in the Subway Series with the Yankees too.
With the Mets, yeah.
Mets and Yankees, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Both teams can't hit worth a damn. And both have great pitching, but even though they blew the lead the other night, I don't know about Chapman. Is he shot or what?
Ross, my question is Chapman supposed to be your closer in big games, 3-2, 4-3? He has an 8-4 lead. And he brings his big closer in for that. For what reason? I don't know at that time.
Well,
he walks the first 3, gives up a grand slam, and the rest is history.
My guess is, and I don't know this, Chip, maybe you do. Sometimes they do that with a closer because he's been inactive for a while. There hasn't been any situations in when he can come into a ball game of late. Well, I don't know if that was the case.
No, it wasn't. He's been pitching. He threw, as a matter of fact, since they came up with the little substance rule, He's been absolutely horrendous. His ERA is over 11 in June. He hasn't been able to get the ball over the plate or get anybody out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was putting him in there so he can, get the feel for the ball again. But it was a bad decision. In my mind, look what happened. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, bouncing back with the Reds yesterday, and was happy about that one.
So you're
And we have a
insinuating that Chapman has been using a foreign substance and now he's not, can't get anybody out and he's not.
I
Is that
don't
what you're
know.
saying? Okay. Well, I'm just listening and trying to process the
Well,
information.
whatever substance Trevor Bauer's been using, I want no part of.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I went 2-0 yesterday. I'm 4-0 the last 2 days. Look, I was on a torrid run, folks, for about 3 months. And it cooled off over the last few weeks, but back on track now. 4-0. I had Milwaukee as a top play yesterday, and the Bucks came through handsomely. And I also had the Chicago White Sox yesterday. Very rare that I lay that kind of juice. I had them at minus 143, but they won the game 8-5. So back on track, Chipper. And you could find Chip's picks on a daily basis at chipwins.com. You could find mine on a daily basis at rbwins.com. Not only would you be able to purchase daily picks, you will also be able to purchase any of our subscription plans, week long, month long, annual, whatever your heart desires. And Chip, if they want something designed specifically for their needs, how do they reach you?
Well, it's very easy, Ross. You dial 702-931-CHIP, 702-931-2447. And, Ross, I can text them messages or email them on a daily basis. And, you don't always get the same ratings that you might get on the websites because the games are posted well ahead of time.
Yeah.
Whereas we like to take the value and garner more information. So, you can go either way. You can deal with me or without me, but you can still get the winners.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you're talking about is what we used to call back in the day a late phone service, Chipper.
Right.
You can reach me at 781-571-0299, 781-571-0299. I employ no salespeople. You'll talk to me and me solely, and no high pressure sales here, folks. You tell me what you want. I give you a price. If you don't like it, I wish you the best of luck, and we go on our merry ways. If you do, we put it together and we go from there. Anyway, Chipper,
Yes,
tomorrow, again, we're recording on Friday the 2nd for the game 6 of this Eastern Conference final between Atlanta and Milwaukee, which takes place on Saturday the 3rd at 8:35 p.m. Eastern time. Chipper, what do you got for us on this contest?
Well, we talked about the trends, and I think they're very, very difficult to go against the trends. And the fact that Atlanta's been an underdog and now they're the favored, that might be telling. The odds maker may understand here that Atlanta has the major advantage. The line is going to go up. You said probably to 2.5 or higher, and that means they have actually room, Ross, to win and not cover. So if I'm going to take Atlanta here, I'm very skeptical because I think I'm going to have a lot of company. I would play the money line. I mean, I'd lay the money line here and see what happens because, boy, if Atlanta was to win this game after being an underdog so many times at home and win by 1 or 2, I'd be kicking myself in the head, and that's not easy to do. So
yeah, I mean, I've done that a few times this year, not in cashed in because I used the money line instead of the point spread. And yes, the odds of it falling right on one are they're quite low, but still,
even 2, we have 2. I think you're gonna have room. 1 or 2 happens in these playoff games or big games,
Absolutely. I mean, and you always said, Ross, we don't hesitate to lay 125 or 130 in baseball.
Right.
Why would we hesitate to lay 125 or 130 in the NBA? It just seems like a foregone conclusion. You're going to use the point spread, but it's what Chipper's insinuating, and what I have done is smart sports wagering. And here's the thing I'm looking at, Chipper. This opened at 1. Atlanta is 2, and they're 2.5 at one sports book right now, but mainly 2, Chipper. And I'm seeing 140 and 145 as a money line. We talked off air. That doesn't usually equate to a -2. Usually you're looking at 130, 135 at a -2, and it's up to 140. So that speaks volumes to me alone.
Yeah, I think the odds makers feel that Atlanta's going to win the game, whether they make the number or not.
Yeah.
that's a different story. But I think they're telling us that this team should win this game here.
Yeah, and the other thing, Chipper, is I'm looking at Milwaukee as a road underdog. They've only been a road underdog 6 times this season. They're 1-5 against the spread as a road
Yeah.
underdog this year. And Atlanta, by the way, real good home record, as Chipper indicated, even better. How about this? Since January 11th, Atlanta has gone 18-3 against the spread as a home favorite. And right now, they're not really a big home favorite, okay? Like we just alluded to. I think the smartest play is, like Chipper said, go to the money line, lay to 140. If it goes over that, then lay the number. I'm going to either or, folks. Whatever you're comfortable with, I would suggest betting the money line as long as it doesn't go over minus 140. If it does, lay a small number of 2.5, whatever you got to do. I think Atlanta bounces back here. And the other thing, like I told Chipper off air, is you got to realize Milwaukee was a favorite the first 2 games of the series at Atlanta. And for the line to be where it is leads me to believe the bookmakers don't believe that Giannis is going to play.
Right.
And if he does, they're probably not very confident that he's going to be near 100%. So we're both on Atlanta in this game, folks. And I'd like to wish you guys all the best of luck with your picks. Until the next time, for Chip Chirimbus, I'm Ross Benjamin. Take care. God bless and good luck.
Thank you, Ross.